We're live? Well, we're not live. We're videotaped.
We're not expired yet, but you know, we are alive.
We are live, okay.
Thank you, Ricky.
We'll take that. All right. 6 o'clock. I'm here, Tom's here, Marty's here, Meg's here, Barb's here, Ricky's here, Jim's here. At this point, is there any public comment? I gotta ask.
No.
Okay. Nothing for public comment. All right. Gonna bounce around a little bit. Debbie, if I mention something that you don't have a copy of, I'll make sure to get it.
Not a problem.
Okay. SPARK, which is the Substance Abuse Prevention and Recovery of Clinton County, has put forward a involvement agreement.
I've seen it.
I have been receiving their emails about the activities that are going on through that group, and I anticipate in the future, if time allows, to participate from time to time at some of those sessions. And all of the folks that have been part of kind of the email chains and those types of things that have asked for consideration that this help to give them a little bit more body and depth to the organization. So please take a read through it for consideration. But they're the ones that have been putting forward some presentations like Chasing the Dragon at the Strand. I think they've done it twice now, and both times they've had almost a packed house, a full house. So they really are doing some really interesting work, and I think that as a local municipality, it's important for us to stay connected with some of the work that they're doing, even if we're not part of that core leadership team. So I just kind of present that to you for consideration, and I'm going to try to look at it some more over the next couple of days for a resolution to allow for us to partake.
For somebody to represent us or something?
Yeah, because I'm part of the chain right now. I would serve as the main liaison to the organization. So again, just for consideration, bringing that up. Next thing that I want to bring to your attention, many of you should know this already, but as part of the budget process this year, the governor did put forward a countywide shared services initiative that was enacted as part of BBB of Chapter 59, Laws of 2017, and this puts together a shared services panel. Every mayor of the villages and the city, and then of course every town supervisor will participate in a shared services panel initiative conversation. And Mike Zerlo, as the county administrator, is responsible for putting forward some meetings. This was passed, this is law. I'm actually looking forward to participating in this process for a number of reasons. I'll get to that in a moment. But on May 17th will be the first meeting of everybody, and in preparation of that, I sat down with the department heads to begin a conversation to really just kind of brainstorm some of the topics that I think would be helpful to further some conversation around. So I just want to kind of go over some of the areas: health insurance, human resources, economic development, grant administration and support, purchasing, to include such things as contract, professional services, auditing, engineering, telecommunication, web, legal, uniforms, paper, cleaning supplies, IT, dog control services, training for boards, both elected and appointed. I think there's some opportunity for some shared services as well. Pictometry. Brian, through our assessing offices, talked a lot about the use of pictometry, not only for assessing, but how the highway departments are using it and our planning departments are using, as well as GIS mapping, fuel storage, record management. I know Ricky and I have had a number of conversations about how we might be able to continue to strengthen that area, printing, and then some other things such as possibly equipment rental programs and share renewables, which are kind of green initiatives, etc. So I've communicated that to Michael in advance, that those are some of the things. It's not an exhaustive list, but I think it's a good way to present that you know, we're not sitting, you know, on our hands, that we're actively thinking about some opportunities. Now, mind you, we do a lot of shared services.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, I think that a lot of people can thump on their chest and say, well, we're already doing shared services, why do we need to do this again? What always baffled me was, why weren't all of the town supervisors and all of the mayors and our, you know, our county team getting together at least once a year? I mean, it just, we're all local. You know, I certainly understand, you know, sometimes the access to, you know, our members of the Assembly and the Senate and our congressional representatives, but we're all here. I think there's some good opportunities to network and talk about some best practices. So I'm really hopeful that there are some good things that will come of this.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Great
So-
thing having that, but in your understanding, or whatever's been said about the law yet, what is the governor requiring us?
So there's going to be a number of steps to it, and I went to a meeting held by the Department of State. I think it was the week before last. We are still asking for some points of clarification on some things, so I'm going to reserve full comment on every element of it. Partly because the state of New York sure likes to muddy the waters when they deliver mandates. So rather than think it's one thing, I'd rather get us all in the room and hear the information as it's being delivered by Mike, as the chairperson of the service panel, to best understand how we are going to move forward in Clinton County. Okay, so I will be giving you regular updates. And
Oh, I just wondered what the mandate was.
well, there's some questions behind that, Tom, and how it is,
As there always is.
and how that is interpreted. That's why I say, I gave you the law, so if you would like to interpret it yourself,
So where is this meeting going to be on the 17th?
it will be at the county, so, at the county.
Downstairs?
I believe it's gonna be in the chambers, so.
So Michael, is one of the points of clarification, because you're right, we have been historically, what I understand, doing shared services, municipality, et cetera. Do you know, I don't like the right word is grandfathered, is any of what we've been doing kind of going to be parlayed into, in other words, does it count for some of the things we've already done successfully to be a part of the,
No.
oh, okay, so you were able to answer that question.
And I think it's looking for actual tangible efficiencies where there's
Yeah.
money saving
Yeah.
that you can track.
Yeah, that's part of it. But there's some questions, and I'll give you an example. Villages run on a different fiscal schedule, so there's just a number of things that we're needing to get our hands around, and I'm waiting to take the lead from Mike as the chairperson of the service panel. So again, I'll be getting you more information.
What time is that meeting?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
6 p.m.?
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right.
17th?
So more to come.
So that's Wednesday, huh?
And one of the last thing that I would actually say, because we have so many elected officials that are mandated to participate in this process, I don't know when those meetings will be afterwards, and it may require Meg as deputy supervisor to chair meetings from time to time, so I can go and participate in this process. Or other towns may be in a very similar situation.
Isn't this on a Wednesday night?
It is, but trying to get a time where every supervisor and mayor in Clinton County can, I'm not saying that that's gonna be the consistent time, and we're gonna have to meet more than once a month to have some.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be on Thursday because that's the city admin town.
I don't know, I'm just.
Okay, so they're going to meet in so we can just go into county office, hear all these things that Mr. Zerl's going to tell us.
It's open, it is open to the public. It will
I'm
fall
part of the
under.
public, so I probably would like to go to that, yes.
Okay, Tom.
Okay, so, all right, moving forward. NICEAG, I just want to make you aware that NICEAG is continuing now that we're getting into the nicer weather, for lack of what it has been lately, for their natural gas expansion. I have requested that they seek an opportunity to possibly hold a public, not a public hearing, but a informational again on the natural gas. They've got a number of things that are going on right now. It seemed to me that there were some staff changes in the company organization. Mike is still our local representative, but I don't know if they will be able to hold one of those informational sessions. I've requested it. If I hear more information, I will certainly let you know. So it's not.
This is the key year, because this is year 3.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
And if it doesn't happen this year, people are gonna be, SOL.
So,
Yeah.
again, more to come. I just, rather than, give you things and wait and, and apprehending information, I try to give it to you as things kind of percolate, etc. Forum on May 25th. As a reminder, we will not have a formal board meeting on May 25th. It will be at the Cumberland Fire Department. So just keep that in mind. Show up there. Please don't show up here. We will start the program promptly at that time. 6 o'clock. Yeah.
My car automatically turns this way.
And just so you know, I did drop some posters up to Brian's shop. He wasn't there when I stopped by. I also went to Stewart's. They don't have a community board anymore, which was a little disappointing. And I did stick one up on the community board over at the A&W Dunkin' Donuts, Mountain, whatever it was. A couple other locations. Some of the boards are not in the most convenient places. The one at the other gas station was kind of behind the ATM, but so I did my best. It's gone out in the e-news and notices. We've sent out a press release. So we're doing some stuff to kind of drum up some business. I think Debbie sent it out to her members, or will send it out to her members. So
could you, Michael, just because we're going to put that up on
Yeah.
YouTube, just explain what this really is about?
Sure. So really, it's going to be a fairly free-forming opportunity for individuals to have, a respectful conversation. It's kind of within the concept of listen and learning, responding where appropriate and such. In the past, we've had these regional meetings where we've done meetings, and public comment doesn't always, present, any issues that are going on. So we'll see where it goes from here. It's an experiment, and we'll move on from there. So, all right. Zoning amendment. You folks had received this before, and it was in your mailbox some time ago. This was passed by the planning board. Let's see if I have. Yeah. Okay. So this was passed by the planning board as recommendations for multifamily dwellings in the R2 district. I'm bringing this to your attention again now that people have had some time for the planning board to do some execution of what they need to do. As we move forward, we will begin to formulate what I would like to say is a position, for lack of better terms, on what might be done in response to this. There is no formal resolution before you for consideration or action, but what I would really like you folks to do is, if you haven't had a chance to do this yet, is to have a conversation with Trevor and the planning department. The other part to it is to consider, today, Elena Tamer was, her first date was today. So we were waiting. She's our new planning technician. So we were waiting really kind of for them to be fully staffed up again. I mean, there was a lot of kind of moving parts at the moment. Now that she's there, I would encourage folks to engage with the department, particularly the planning committee as well. And I think that Trevor has, a unique perspective on this, and maybe some additional thoughts and opinions that might guide us to make some decisions. So, again, just want to keep things out in front of you, moving forward. Meg, I know that you have been working on some stuff, and you have a draft resolution. just so it doesn't get lost in tonight's proceedings, you want to talk about it?
Tom and I are working on something called a Clean Energy Communities designation. It's through NYSERDA, and we have to fulfill a number of small points in order to get this designation, and one of them is passing a benchmarking policy, which requires the town to monitor its energy usage here at Town Hall. And that's what this draft resolution is all about. Patrick has already compiled the data, so we have it all for the last 2 years, which is what this specific piece calls for. And now we just have to pass the resolution. It's pretty dense, but if you could read it over and see what you think about it and see if you have any questions and let me know by next week. It's basically stating that every year we're going to do the same thing. We're going to track our energy usage, so we know what we're using and see if we can find some ways to be more efficient.
Okay, that's fine.
So again, a draft, unless there's any real issue with it, it will be on the docket for consideration next week.
I just realized it says Town of Franklin.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
For-
Was this a model template that you
Yes.
used? Okay. Yeah, I saw that, but I figured it was a
I even
template.
did a search of Franklin. It didn't come up.
Did you?
Is this
Okay.
just like directly from theirs?
It was the one that Anka sent from the town, the one that the Town of Franklin passed.
So, and again, if people have thoughts and opinions specifically, please reach out to Meg directly on that. I'll have her make any modifications before it comes to the board. Please, I would strongly ask that you get those to Meg by Monday of next week at the latest, to give her a day, and if you could try to email it to Deborah and myself by noon on Tuesday. It usually takes us a little while to finalize the packet on Tuesdays, so, okay. All right, draft material, you do have minutes.
122, 123, are incorrect? The voting.
Hold on, you gotta give me a second to get there. One 122.
What's wrong with it?
It all says we voted no on both of them. It says it was passed, and so it was carried, but it's checked in the no column for all of us. And if somebody's looking at the minutes in the future,
Yep.
you might think that, well, how did they do that?
Good catch, Tom.
Very good catch.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah. What's the other one, Tom?
The two in order, it's on the same page, 122 or 123. The rest of them are correct. I think it just got pushed over, but the carried is in the right spot, so now it looks like,
Yep. Good catch, Tom. So if you were to scan that very quickly, I mean, yeah? Okay,
I
thank
have
you.
to look at it closer.
Yeah.
I scan things, I miss it.
Many eyes, Tom, very good. All right. Draft minutes, draft monthly reports. There is the draft temporary seasonal hire for lifeguards in the recreation department. There is a draft to publish the bid for the thank you, equipment. And then there are the budget amendments. There is, for consideration for a draft of bank consolidation. Make sure I understand.
Is that, Glens Falls, is that good, did we have trouble with them before? That particular bank? What you're doing is moving all the money to that?
There's some movement with the consolidation of it, yes.
Okay,
So-
and that's gonna be a money market?
Yes.
We could take the money out if we need it at any point then from the money market.
There's opportunity to move some of it around it should we need to, again.
If we need to, is this money in there for very long, do you know?
I would advise you to talk to Pat directly.
Okay, just curious, because as far as what the interest was and stuff like
The interest in all of the banking right now is
Negligible.
almost non-existent.
that. But we're moving into, what we're doing in money market should be at least 1%.
Yeah. So,
No?
You're not getting 1% now, I'm sure you're
Well,
not.
why are,
Those are my
I guess what I want to know is why we move the money into different accounts if it's not.
We've always had the money in different banks.
I think that's what the
Oh,
reason
right,
it's
but now we're
consolidated.
consolidating it all, so
Right.
I'm curious why. Because before we used to have the limit, and you didn't want to go over the limit, or you don't have insurance.
I think there's a number of reasons that we've considered things, everything from working on making sure to have it spread out to a variety of places, to cleaning up our accounts, to better management. I mean, to me, this is pretty regular activity from what we've done in the past time, so. Talked about the bid, talked about the consolidation.
Firstly, Michael, could I offer
Yep.
along the lines of where Tom was going? I think it would have been appropriate to have Patrick available to discuss this with us in a session like this.
Okay. It's draft, so.
Because it is a departure from a long-standing policy of the town, and it'd be interested in knowing, what, there are general statements here regarding benefits. I'd be interested in knowing the specifics of the benefits.
Well, I guess there's two things that can occur at this point as a draft, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, Marty. So, as a draft, I would ask either counselors to consider reaching out to Pat directly, so that we can keep it on target, for next week for a vote, only because the following week we won't have a work session, and so on and so forth, or tell me now so I can take this off the docket for a couple of weeks, invite him back to have that. So,
He could just send an email, couldn't he?
okay, that could be fine too, but I need some direction as far as what you're looking for.
I mean, I have a couple of questions, Marty, but I reached out to Patrick, I just gotta get back to him, so, I mean, I thought that was the best way, most efficient way to have that information available.
Yeah, and in reality, one of the strengths I think that we've been having lately is with the change of our meetings, trying to get the packets to hit in a way is to give, some opportunity to talk with department heads and stuff like that.
Well, this certainly gives us time. I
Yeah.
just didn't know if you
Yep.
had some of those answers, I just
Yep.
wanted to ask.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel it was, from my perspective, I feel it's pretty generic in terms, so. All right, let me see where I am. Moving forward, water storage tank asset management, maintenance program award as well. And then the next item is Nikki.
Is this the tank award is to Suez?
To Suez.
Is that
Suez
from
is-
Egypt, or is that?
It is
It's USG formerly.
yeah, and now they're known as
The same company that
Suez.
we've been,
Yeah. Okay. The next item is Nikki Martin merit pay, and I would ask that you put a push pin in that for a moment, and I'll get into, part of it is, unless there's any other items, I am gonna seek to go into an executive session this evening. I don't anticipate an action occurring. We won't vote on this item, but the resolution may be amended. Okay? So, is there any other items for need or discussion? Otherwise, I would accept a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for proposed pending or current litigation and the employment history of two particular employees.
What's the litigation?
It would be with Neil Facet's,
I don't know the name of that corporation.
the campground.
Campground
Yeah.
at Cumberland Headquarters.
Okay.
Plattsburgh RV Park.
Thank you. Yeah,
Is there a campground there?
yeah, okay. So, 6:25, motion by Meg. Is there a second?
Second.
Hebert, and you included the person on there? Okay. At 6:25, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay. We will go in. It will be lengthy, but I don't imagine taking action tonight, so.